We could have issued it 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago, but we were very painstaking to deal with the impact of fixed charge removal, to deal with the impact of meter rollout, and to deal with the impact of no billing for CAPME customers who have not been metered in 60 days. We worked out all the impact mathematically, we worked out in terms of policy implication over a long range, and we felt we have provided the safeguards, and on that day, all was done. So why not sign off? And then we signed off.
Was there any time you had a subsisting court order restraining you from going ahead with this particular increase?
No. If there was an order, we will not go further because we can't. A regulator has to be law-abiding. We cannot be reckless and disobey court order. We know that there were cases in Lagos and elsewhere about MITO 2.1. Now, let me make it clear. People forget that you can go to court and restrain or get an order against a particular MITO, which means you are saying this price regime should not be operated because it is illegal or whatever reason. But the process of tariff review is different. So we have created MITO 215, which is different from MITO 2.1. So this is a new MITO arising from our legal responsibility to always review the tariff when the conditions are met. So somebody can go to court today and challenge this, and it's left for the court to say, do not operationalize this tariff. Or the court can say, continue until we reach a judgment. But for today, there is no order asking NERC never to exercise its powers of making and reviewing tariff. No such order. There could be some order, or maybe perhaps vague, against the old MITO we issued. But the process of review and the outcome of that review, there is no order against it.
All right, there's this quote that was attributed to you at that investigative hearing, which says that you, at that hearing, alluded to the fact that distribution companies engage in overbilling and charging of flat rates due to the absence of effective metering system, which you said will be addressed in the nearest future. Has that been addressed before this increase?
Sure. If the tariff order that came out says the distribution companies must meter all their customers. And what that means, two things flow from it. One, if you don't meter your customers, it's at your own risk. It's at your own risk. You will need to, first and foremost, for example, if I bill them and they dispute that bill, estimated billing, they don't need to pay for that estimated bill anymore. They will pay for the historic bill that they think is certain. So if today I'm billed 2,000 and I paid, then tomorrow they issue me 4,000 and I dispute. I have to go to the NERC dispute system. And once I go there, I'm not bound to pay anymore.
But Dr. Amadi, that's not what
customers
happens.
Confidence, and we have.
So, sir, let me bring this in. That's not what happens. That may be the policy, but what happens is once they come with the bill, estimated billing, of course, and then you see the stamp is already there that you've been marked for disconnection. It doesn't matter whether or not you have never defaulted in your payment. So they bring that bill, they stamp it that you've been marked for. Sure. In fact, they say immediate disconnection. So even if you dispute, you take it to them, they tell you, go and pay first, then we'll come and sort you out. That's what happens.
No, but we have changed that. That's what I'm saying. The new order says, while you are disputing, nobody should disconnect you. That's the point. You can't be disconnected. So we are saying is that if you dispute your bill, enter into dispute with the operator. At that moment, you are still seeking redress. You are protected to pay what you had paid historically, which is not disputed, and then you will not be disconnected until that dispute is settled. So, in other words, we are pushing back the incentive on the discos to meter their customers. It is in their own interest to meter. If you don't meter, then you run the risk of losing revenue.
Okay,
so
let me find out. When did this happen, Dr. Amadi?
To solve that problem, by protecting consumers, you cannot be disconnected. as long as you are disputing your bill and you have paid the amount that is equal to your last bill that you accepted.
Okay.
So in other words, if I paid 200 this year,
yeah,
then next month you said it's 600. I'll pay the same 200 and keep paying 200 until that dispute is resolved. And within that period, I cannot be disconnected. So we have made the best use of a bad situation by guaranteeing customers stability, right to protest, and not to be overbilled. At the same time, allowing the discos revenue that will get or based on the old undisputed bill while they resolve that. So, final word, disco, go and meter.
Okay,
if you don't meter,
let's bring
this
in, just looking at the time at the same time. When did this policy come into fruition, and has it taken effect?
All these policies are contained in the tariff order. They take effect immediately, but the new tariff takes effect on February 1st. We understand the optics and the politics of New Year. So we've learned from history, and so we say this tariff takes effect from February. So when people come back from Christmas and for the end of the year parties, and they are financially drained, they are not going to confront a new tariff day one. So February 1st, start off of these policies and this tariff.
This dispute...
But the issue on metering remains effective.
Okay, let me get a practical situation
we issued the order that anybody who had paid for cap meter and have not been metered for 60 days can no longer be billed until they're metered. That policy started last month.
Last month, because I still have people who have paid for these meters for a year plus. They don't have those meters whatsoever, so that policy will definitely apply to them. All right, then let me get a practical situation here. If one goes to, or if they bring an estimated billing to you and you dispute, you go back to, is it your disco, do they have those disputing offices?
You go to the consumer complaint unit.
Are they designated at that?
And they move to, yeah.
That's where they are now.
Yes, so this is a process. If you have a dispute, write to your operator and say, this bill, I don't think it is fair bill. I dispute it. Now, they have 14 days to resolve that problem and say, you are right, we made a mistake. Or they say, we are right, you are wrong. If you're not satisfied, we have forum offices in Lagos, in the Ikeja area. You have it in Awolowo Road, near Secretariat. We have NERC forum office. In Eko, you have it, for example, at the Eko Electricity Distribution Company office there. So when you go to the forum office, you are going to meet a panel of consumers like you, made up of representatives of the Consumer Protection Council, the NASIMA, industrialists, NSE, human rights activists. They elect among themselves a chairman, and they will handle the case like a court. And they said, you are right, this is overbilling. They have engineers there who also understand the process. Now, when they do that, they send to us, we enforce it. If you are still not happy with the outcome, you will come to the NERC, which is the Supreme Court. NERC commissioners, 3 of them, will sit and determine that you are right or you are wrong. And in this process, our experts will go and visit the site and see the issue, place the meter, and then provide evidence.
All right.
So this is a well laid out dispute management system.
Okay, as it is now, well, unfortunately, we have to go. But, you know, when we talk about electricity matters, already people are telling me, look, as at yesterday, they were disconnected in spite of all pleas and complaint and dispute. But we'll work out something, find a way to probably get you back, and then you just respond to challenges that a lot of people are talking about here today. But in the meantime, we have to thank you for talking to us today, Dr. Sam Amadi, former chairman of NERC.